Well, let's talk to Jonathan in Croydon, who I think is certainly more sympathetic than Andy and others, including myself, to this man's activities. Jonathan, hello.
Hello.
You think he's a positive force. Tell me why.
Absolutely. I mean, it's important to critically evaluate Andrew Tate in all aspects of life. Although he is a political troll and he does tweet out things like Greta Thunberg on Twitter, he's immensely helped a huge amount of young men's lives and has helped them become better men, has empowered masculinity, has got them in the gym, has promoted self-accountability, and provides an opposite side to the left-wing society that the West is now seeing.
Empowered masculinity by getting people to the gym. Is that masculinity? Big muscles?
Absolutely. It requires responsibility. It requires self-accountability. It requires discipline, consistency. What else is more important in life?
Oh, yes, but they're not uniquely masculine traits, are they?
No, masculinity, going to the gym and teaching these skills from a young age is important, so men don't become weak men when they're older. So no excuses are made.
Physically weak.
And he does that from a young age.
Physically weak or morally weak or both?
Both.
And what about
look at what happens. Look at what happens when men can't control their emotions in the West. You have school shootings such as in America.
Do you think
this is what happens.
Do you think that his comments on women and what he urges young boys and men to do to women, the women in their lives, do you think that is a positive force?
I think what he says and what goes through people's head are two different things. He said that men and women are both needed in society. They go yin and yang together. If you have traditionally masculine men and traditionally feminine women, society is proven at its best. Look at the societies in the West right now, England and the United Kingdom. London is a failing city at every metric. Dubai and other parts of the East, which are regarded by the UK as apparently misogynistic, as we've seen through Qatar and how the West have portrayed that. So many people have come back from Qatar saying it's been an amazing place.
But can I ask you to be specific? You've been specific about what you think the benefits of lifelong physical strength and discipline are, and I wouldn't disagree with you about discipline and consistency and commitment. They're important for boys and girls, men and women. There are fantastic human traits to keep a life on track, no doubt. But why the exhortations to physically hurt and mentally hurt women and girls? Why throw that into the mix?
So there actually has been no instance of where he has seriously meant that he has hurt women in any metric possible. Earlier you mentioned that.
What do you mean in any metric possible? What does that mean?
There has been no instance where any woman has come forward against Andrew Tate and said that
I don't need them to. I've got the words.
So you don't need evidence?
No, I've got the evidence in front of me. This is a man
what is the evidence?
I've got it right in front of me if you'll hear me out. This is a man who goes online and sends out videos and has huge numbers of people following him because essentially he's created a kind of pyramid scheme financially to attract people to it. And he has said, and you know the physical sort of demeanour of the big cigar and the riches and the cars and all the rest of it. That's the backdrop. But these are the words. Controlling women, trashing their belongings, stopping them from going out in order to control their behaviour. And this is a quote from him now. It's bang out the machete, boom, in her face, grip her by the neck, shut up, bitch. Apologies for that. That's what he says in one video, acting out how he'd attack a woman if she accused him of cheating. In another, he describes throwing a woman's possessions out of the window to teach her a lesson. In a third, he calls an ex-girlfriend a dumb hoe. Again, apologies to people for the language. He has encouraged all kinds of physical methods of controlling a woman. He has exhorted people to violence and physical and mental control of the woman in their life and the women in their lives. And you're unmoved by that, Jonathan.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you grab these quotes.
But I didn't make them up.
No, you didn't make them up.
He said them.
But you didn't take into the context of which they were said.
Tell me the context. Tell me the context.
They were said in a jokey manner. The difference is when it's chopped up into a 30-second or 10-second TikTok clip and young men digest that, that's not his problem. They haven't read the whole context.
Women bear responsibility for being raped?
So that is one thing I don't personally agree with him, but that doesn't mean he's not an overall net positive for men as a whole.
I've actually watched a lot of his content, Jonathan, since I first talked about him on air, and now, as true to form, it just comes up when I'm on Instagram because of how algorithms work, and I haven't quite worked out how to control that yet. But he's not just joking. It's not banter. It's deeply serious. He is training and guiding and exhorting boys and men to behave like this towards the women in their life.
Absolutely not. He is not.
I'm telling you
women.
that he is, Jonathan, because I've watched it.
Sure.
He isn't joking. It's not slapstick. He's not joking.
Okay, sure. So I've been watching him for a few years, way before he's blown up, and I've noticed the increasing trend in people such as yourself saying this. But where's the sufficient evidence for any woman coming out against him? It's odd that he got banned off Instagram, Twitter, and
That's
Facebook.
That's not the point. Jonathan, that isn't the point.
Odd that he got banned off that, but then ISIS members and members of the Iran regime are still on Twitter and Facebook. Do you think that's morally correct? Do you think our children should be seeing people get their heads chopped off?
No, I don't. But I do not. Of course I don't. But I'm glad. By the way, I'm not talking about banning him from anything. I'm talking about what we do when people put, and I'm glad you've mentioned ISIS because I think his MO is similar. It is a form of radicalising of particularly young people, but clearly in your case, not just young people. He is attempting to bring into common he's succeeding in bringing into common parlance in schools, in homes across presumably the world because of the way the internet works, certainly in the home of Karen, who we spoke to 10 minutes ago. He is inculcating violence against women and girls, attitudes that are deeply misogynistic and completely out of date in any normal Western mind. And it's working. That's the problem. It's working.
Yeah, sure. So you keep saying the same rhetoric again, misogynistic, etc., etc.
I'm not, Jonathan. I'm not giving you rhetoric.
Sure.
I'm telling you what the mother of a 13-year-old boy is dealing with in her home. Don't just say sure. Answer it. I'm not giving you rhetoric. I'm telling you, I'm reporting to you what the mother and father of a 13-year-old boy have told me, and they're not the only ones. And I can see calls coming in from people experiencing the same. So it isn't rhetoric, Jonathan. It's happening. It's coming into people's living rooms via their smartphones. Right. What do we do about it?
Why can't people take to the good he says? Why are they not seeing all the good things he says about self-accountability, about making more money? He has personally helped me through his apparently pyramid scheme through Hustlers.
How's he helped you? Tell me.
Because I've left my job.
And?
I am now Sorry?
And what did you do?
Before, I was working in...
Yeah, tell me the story.
I was a part of his pyramid scheme, which is completely not a pyramid scheme. One part of his Hustlers University is an affiliate marketing area where there's also 11, 12 other areas where verified millionaires will also teach you how to become wealthy. Now, people don't want to see that. They just want to attack him for the pyramid scheme.
How have you become wealthy? Have you?
Yes.
How?
Because I've managed to leave my job at the age of 23 years old. I'm in the greatest physique in my life. I take utmost self-accountability, and I'm moving out of the Western countries I am placed in now in the next 3 months.
And that doesn't sound like a job. How do you work now to become rich?
Oh, so I was a part of his methods of creating wealth. So, for example, he does copywriting, he does stock trading, he does crypto trading.
Could you translate that for me into what you do and how it earned you money?
Yes, we stock trade. We look at companies that are going to increase in value over time, and we trade that. We also day trade. And we also copyright, so we write marketing and sales emails for companies.
Yeah. Right. And how much have you earned as a result of that, would you say, broadly speaking?
Well, put it this way, I was earning about, after taxes, probably 9K before, and now I'm well over that, and I can provide for my family, and I'm only 23 years old.
What family have you got?
What do you mean, what family have I got?
What do you mean by family? Do you mean a wife, children? Do you mean your mum and your dad and your siblings? What do you mean by family?
So my mum and my siblings. So I've retired my mother, and I also have taken care of my
You have retired your mother?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is she a racehorse?
She doesn't have to work. She doesn't have to... Sorry?
Is she a racehorse?
Is it not good to take care of your family?
No, just the language is interesting. You have retired your mother.
I have retired my mother. She doesn't have to work a day in her life again because of her son.
And she's happy?
she is extremely happy about that. She gets to pursue all her passions.
And how would you feel about somebody being online thinking, well, she's got all that time on her hands now, you want to keep her under control, you should hit her a couple of times to keep her under control, you should throw her possessions out of the window. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, so again...
You find it funny?
I find it funny that you keep using this one example, which is proved completely untrue.
Well, it hasn't. Well, you see, now you're just lying. It hasn't proved completely untrue because it's there. It's there on the internet.
Guilty?
No. It's there.
Guilty?
It's there for people to see.
Yeah, which is said in a jokey manner. So I say this again, it's called getting swatted, right? So firstly, they ban you, so they try and silence you. Secondly, they try and take you to court, possibly through taxes. But through him, they're trying to make up these false accusations of human trafficking.
Well, I don't know about those. The law in Romania will have to assess those, Jonathan. Let's leave it there. But thank you for your call, Jonathan in Croydon. He retired his mother to the knacker's yard. It's 1:34.